in school that is a huge problem for me is not being able to learn my African American history.
Yeah.
Only thing that I do learn is that I was a slave, I was free, and that's it.
That's it.
Now, Pan-African Studies is there to teach you the real stuff, the great stuff, the bad stuff, everything. And that's what we need in these schools, because once you begin to teach us our history, you then give us this mindset to where we can do things.
Yeah.
We can learn about other things. We can strive to make more Black history ourselves, because we are that Black history. So once you put that in these schools, you help tons of African American students will feel more respect in schools, will have a reason to be in school. And I don't have a problem with learning European history, but I want to learn about mine too. School has become so Eurocentric that it's kind of like, why am I there anymore? Why isn't my history being implemented in this school? 58% is African American and 28% Latino. So we should have more things that pertain to us because we are there. We should be feeling like we are important. Our history should be implemented all around the school, just as well as European history. And so, although I do not have a problem with European history, I would love to see mine, because when I see the beautiful things that happen in African American history, and I know that that's possible, I then can strive for a better future. Now, our schools today don't really do it that much. I personally go to School of the Arts. For the Black History Day that we had, they weren't going to let us do it, and so we did protest inside of school so that we can be celebrated. We should not only have one day, and we do. It should be every single day, like every other culture that we celebrate in that school. So thank you guys for listening, and please take that into consideration.
So students, if you're out here, parents, teachers, repeat after me. I know I can.
I know I can.
Be what I want to be.
Be what I want to be.
If I work hard at it.
If I work hard at it.
I'll be where I want to be.
I'll be where I want to be.
But truth is, I can't do that if they won't help me. So let's change that. Instead of you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, I want to hear you get a better education. You get a better education, and you get a better education.
Talk about it.
A person who can think for themselves can strive toward a beautiful future.
So this is our rainforest, and we're starting out with some wind. And now you hear the rain starting to hit your window a little bit. Little sprinkles. And now the rain is getting a little bit heavier. It's coming down, maybe some hail in there, you never know. Cover up your hair. And now you hear the thunder. This thunder is roaring, it's loud. And now the storm is gone. Thank you. Now, I understand that race is one of those things that is a really touchy subject, and so we don't usually talk about it that much, and especially not when it comes down to school. But how can we get rid of the elephant in the room if we don't address it, right? You see, that thunder is like race in our schools being ignored. That thunder is the one thing that we fear, like race, even though it can't exactly physically harm us. But because it's so loud and the thunder is so rambunctious, we're afraid of it. But maybe it's because we don't understand the thunder. Race is just like our thunder. We're afraid of it even though we can't run away from race. It'll always be there. And some of us don't understand race or other races, and so we tend to stay away from it because we don't understand. But how can our rainforest work effectively without one of our elements, that race? How can our schools work if we're afraid to talk about race? Not being able to openly talk about race with my peers in school is definitely hard, but it's not the fact that I just couldn't do it as if I'm not allowed, but it's because I was one of the only youth in my school, or at least my class, that knew about my own Black history. I was the only one that knew about my race. And that's because I've always been the kind of child to learn about my own history outside of school because I wasn't learning it inside of school. Thank you. The older I got, the more I noticed that I was learning nothing about my Black skin except for the fact that I was a slave and a president freed us. And I was tricked into thinking that I was really learning something because I got the occasional Martin Luther King and Malcolm X in the mix. But Black youth in my school had no idea of the potential that they had because they had no idea of the amazing things that our Black people did. They see no value in themselves because they rarely saw their own Black history being valued in the classroom. But by me knowing the amazing things that our Black people did in history, it changed the way that I looked at myself. I held my head a little higher. I took pride in my education, and I valued myself and my people more. But sad thing is, it was like the world around me had forgotten that Black history is American history. There was no Black history being implemented in our school halls. There were no open discussions about race, and there was no diversity in the teaching. And a lot of students had no idea of where they came from. And some teachers and administrators will say that they felt disconnected from the Black students, which I understood. But it was because they didn't exactly understand how we lived in our own Black communities. But why? Maybe because some of them never stepped foot into our Black communities, never had a heart-to-heart conversation with the Black or Latino youth to understand what our daily lives is like, and never understood that the frustration and pain that we show in class stems from the trauma that we deal with every single day in our own homes, down our own streets, in our own schools. And those are a few reasons that teachers didn't want to talk about race. And even some teachers say that they don't talk about it because they don't want to seem racist if they don't understand. But the same exact way that us students like to learn about things that we don't understand is the same exact way that our teachers and administrators should do the same exact thing for us. Be more present in our open discussions in class and represent all of us. And it's not anyone's fault that they didn't grow up in a more diverse community to understand cultures and races, but it does become your fault when you interact and represent a group of people that you just don't understand and you never try to educate yourself on that race or their culture. And sometimes the reason you don't understand a situation is because you don't understand the people. And it is true that race is a part of our rainforest. And it can change our school climate in a positive way if we address it properly, or it can damage it if we ignore it like we have been. But those amazing teachers and peers and students and teachers and parents that understand that race is not a bad thing, that the discussions can help, that understand that race plays a huge role in our everyday lives in school and outside, and who don't feel obligated to, but really truly have it in their hearts to help every single student, and who even support Pan-African Studies in our school, is the reason that we get closer to a healthier climate every single day. Our Hollywood movies should not be teaching us about our Black and Latino history. And if we want our rainforest to work, if we want our schools to work, we have to expect the thunder. For a long time, Black and Latino students have been denied proper education. In 2018, we still have. And so we're not going to keep falling under this whole map of equal education, because we don't need equal education. We need equity in our education. We need way more than Greece Athena and Greece Odyssey will ever need. So don't give us equality, give us equity.